luck as we continue to paint our city skyline here. We've already painted in the Smith Tower, and we've just completed the King Dome. It's a happy little dome. It's uglier than hell, but it is happy. And now, right next to the dome, perhaps, we're going to paint in a new open-air baseball stadium. Maybe one with a retractable roof and just a gorgeous facility for watching Major League Baseball. But before we continue with that, let's come over here to the Mariners' offices, where we can see a baseball player walking out the front door, number 24. He's a center fielder, and he's carrying all of his bags with him, and he's getting into one of those blue airport shuttle vans. Apparently he's leaving town. I guess we don't need to bother painting that new open-air baseball stadium with the retractable roof.
So much. Oh, we got a big crowd here, and it's a big week in the country. It started with the State of the Union address, it ends with the Super Bowl, and we are going to cover it all on tonight's show. And I think we should start with the big political event. Now, if you missed the State of the Union, I would like to show you some of the highlights, and I think we have a tape of that if we could run it here. Yes, it was a speech that lasted over an hour, and that can be a long time to go without a drink. I mean, I'm telling you, long time. Hillary was there, of course, with Chelsea, sitting with distinguished people like this heroic rescuer from the Oklahoma City bombing. There was also Holocaust survivor and Nobel Prize laureate Elie Wiesel was there. And the winner of HBO's Funniest Mayor in America, Norm Rice, he was there. Meanwhile, Vice President Al Gore remains in a coma. Now, can you spot the cabinet official who is not on the White House basketball team? Of course, both Republicans and Democrats love the little trick that Warren Christopher can do with his ears. Isn't that cute? That's cute. Now, during the speech, Clinton raised the idea of making student uniforms mandatory in public schools. Now, no one can figure out where he came up with the idea of everybody dressing the same. I mean, where could he come with that? Anyway, as speeches go, it was pretty good, I guess, especially the part where the president tried to have a little fun with the audience with a quick game of the old favorite, Simon Says. Applaud. Okay. Simon Says applaud. Simon Says. All right. Simon Says stop. Simon Says look up. Great. That was wonderful. A great speech. So, that's my analysis, that's my commentary on the State of the Union address, and of course there'll be a lot of expert commentary during the big game tomorrow, and I only hope it'll be a little better than this.
Third and about 2 now. Flea flicker to Billadu. Pass is complete to him, and oh! Billadu is racked up, and he is brought down hard after a gain of maybe 2.
And he is hurt, Bob, really hurt.
He is down, and he is not moving.
This is not good, Bob.
And we would not even begin to speculate on the nature of that injury at this point, Jack.
It would be pure speculation, Bob.
It might be possibly a torn cartilage, I was going to say.
Or a ligament.
And of course, Jack, you have to hope it is not the anterior cruciate ligament of one of those very valuable knees.
Or both of them.
But again, we don't want to even speculate on anything at this point, as Bilodeau continues to lie down on that field in what is probably horrible agony.
Yes, although he might not actually be, or he might not actually feel a thing, Bob, if he is, say, unconscious.
And we don't know if he's unconscious at this point.
We don't know, Bob.
And we're not even going to speculate on the nature of the obviously severe injury until we know something for sure.
An injury that could end his career.
But we just don't know.
It's impossible to say at this point completely, Bob.
Sure it is. And while we continue to wait for some official word, Jack, could you explain what exactly constitutes a career-ending injury?
Yes, I'd be glad to. A career-ending injury is exactly that. It's an injury that ends a player's career.
Like a broken neck?
That's a good example.
What about a crushed skull?
That would almost certainly be an ending injury career.
But again, we just do not know at this point. There has been no indication from the field whatsoever. We're not going to offer you any speculation about this absolutely horrible, potentially life-threatening injury until we know it.
It is possible, Bob, although I've never seen it, for a player's legs to actually be detached from his body.
Now, you're not saying that's what's happened here, Jack.
No, I'm not going to speculate on anything at this point,
Right.
Bob, but I'm just saying that that is possible.
And of course, we know that Bilodeau's family and his close friends are all watching the game right now back in his hometown.
And no doubt worrying and praying for him right now as we all are.
And certainly frightening words and thoughts have to be running through their heads right now.
Fracture, contusion,
Concussion, coma.
vegetable.
And of course, you know, down the road, there is the ugly specter of staph, of lockjaw.
Anthrax, malaria.
Ebola.
He will very much be missed, Bob. He was a good one.
He certainly was a... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He's getting up.
He's on his feet, Bob.
And he appears to be just fine. He's not even going to leave the game.
This is a miracle.
Spontaneous healing.
An act of God, Bob.
But again, we just don't know. And we're not even going to speculate on that at this point.
Right.
Although, you know, you have to wonder, even though he looks fine now, what may be coming for Bilodeau, Jack?
Internal bleeding is certainly possible.
Brain swelling or hemorrhaging, maybe?
Sure, maybe brain
That certainly could happen.
Hey kids, it's time once again for Uncle Fran's Super Bowl Fun Fact.
Hi kids, I'm Uncle Fran with another Super Bowl fun fact. 8-year-old Stacy writes, how come in football they hit each other so hard? Well, Stacy, that's because football is ritualized violence. It reassures people that force is the best way to solve problems while allowing them to get a vicarious thrill from watching people smash each other's faces in. Plus, if they don't hit each other, then it's not really football. It's just 22 guys jogging around for no apparent reason. So remember, Stacy, the fact that most football players will suffer pains that will haunt them the rest of their lives is not your concern. You just sit back and enjoy the game. So long, kids.
This is the State of the Household Address. Now, here is the head of the McPhee household, Walter McPhee.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you for coming. Good to see you. Good to see you, Louise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Wife Louise, Grandma, Grandpa, Walt Jr., Trudy, and little Willie. I'm glad to be here with all of you, especially you, Louise, who, as you all know, has come under a great deal of criticism lately for some questionable transactions with the Visa card. But I want to say here and now that Louise is a good wife, a fine mother, and makes the best darn potato salad this household has ever seen. The state of this house is good, but frankly, in need of new paint. And it is my promise to you that I will paint it this year. Yes, there is much to be pleased about. The VCR is working well and is no longer flashing 12. Both cars are running okay. The garbage disposal is working again, although, as you know, we lost a hamster in there through circumstances we do not need to go into again. And according to the man from Roto-Rooter, the septic tank will not need pumping for 2 more years! Also, I have just been advised that beginning next month, our house will now be included in both the Domino's and the Shakey's delivery areas! Yeah! Yes, we can be proud of the work we have undertaken and the actions that we have accomplished together. But there are also tough choices and difficult decisions ahead if we are to meet our goal of a balanced budget. These measures will not be pleasant. They will not always be popular, but we must do them! We have closets of perfectly good clothes and shoes, so I say, let's lose that weight. Let's trim down and get back into the clothes we already have. The era of big Nordstrom's bills must end now! And beginning next month, we will drop HBO and the Disney Channel and switch to basic cable service only. Boo! Boo! Our environment, and specifically our driveway, must no longer be dominated by a 35-foot motor home. It must move! Walt Jr. can no longer live here for free, continuing to depend on this family's welfare, but must get on his feet, get off his ass, and get a job! And because we have neither the room nor the resources to house any more kittens, Fluffy will be getting neutered next week. Sorry, Fluff. In spite of these difficult realities, I do see a bright future ahead for all of us. The McPhees are. The McPhees have always been a great and a good family. A family that recycles its bottles, that rewinds its videos, and that does not drink straight from the carton. Thank you very much, and God bless the McPhees! Thank you! Thank you very much! Thank you all!
Studio amplification for Almost Live provided by American Music. Now open in Tacoma.
Hey kids, it's time once again for Uncle Fran's Super Bowl Fun Fact.
Hi kids, I'm Uncle Fran with another Super Bowl fun fact. Some of you have asked what it means that Dallas is favored by 14 points. Basically, it means that adults, your parents, have bet that Dallas will win by 2 touchdowns. If they're wrong, they lose that money they would otherwise spend on toys for you. Why do they do that? Because they're trying to add just a tinge of excitement to what Henry David Thoreau called their lives of quiet desperation. So remember, when you don't get the new Donkey Kong, it's because your parents are frightened creatures caught in the cruel downward spiral of a life they little understand. So cut them a little slack, okay? So long, kids.
The Late Report. Well, a local public relations firm says they've been hired to devise an exit strategy to ease public furor if and when the Seahawks decide to leave town. Another PR firm says they've been hired to create a public furor if and when the Seahawks decide to leave town. Governor Lowry drove to the Tacoma News Tribune this week to complain about their political cartoonist, Chris Britt, who he mistakenly thought had dated Lowry's harassment accuser, Suzanne Albright. Britt was startled by the governor's visit, but eventually calmed him down by teaching him how to draw Popeye. The Penny's store in Auburn is closing its doors after 73 years. A spokesperson for Penny's said, apparently, over the years, Auburn men have lost interest in buying clean underwear. Ken Griffey Jr. says he may leave the Mariners because he hates Seattle's rain and snow. In response, Seattle citizens will soon be asked to vote on a $14.5 trillion retractable roof over all of Western Washington. A Meet Your Valentine party will be held on February 9th at the Bellevue Hyatt and is sponsored by the American Singles Organization and Great Expectation Video Dating. The party is for single people who need to hire a company to get a date. Jimmy Hoffa Jr. campaigned in Seattle last week for president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Hoffa said that he liked Seattle so much he'd like to return someday, perhaps as part of a cement block in the new Mariners Stadium. And now, a personal comment from Nancy Guppy. Nancy?
Thanks, John. Hi, thank you. Thank you very much. Hi there, I'm Nancy Guppy, and my car was stolen 2 weeks ago, and even though it was found, I'd like to speak to anyone who might be thinking of stealing it again. Okay, this is my car. It's a 1989 Nissan Sentra. Now, sure, it's a decent car, but is it really the best car you could be stealing? I mean, it gets horrible gas mileage, the defrost doesn't work, and if you have a lot of friends or gang members to drive around, boy, will you be cramped. This, however, is our producer Bill Stainton's car, a 1992 Saab. It has a nice design, plenty of space, and great steering in case you need to run from the police. Also, it's painted dark blue, which is very inconspicuous and has never been in a wreck. Okay, if prestige is what you're after, John Keister drives this 12-cylinder Jaguar convertible with leather bucket seats. Yeah. And you know something? John makes a lot of money, and I'm willing to bet he keeps some of it in his car. Yeah. And don't you keep a cell phone in your car, too?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, whatever. Just make sure you check under the front seat for that phone. Okay, now, Pat Cashman doesn't even lock his 1985 Jeep Grand Cherokee parked on the second floor, Space D. It's got a CD player, anti-lock brakes, and is the perfect size when stealing for the family. Now, if for some reason it is locked, the back door on the passenger side doesn't shut all the way, so with a screwdriver, you'll have no problem. Believe me. Finally, Bob Nelson doesn't have a car, but he does carry lots of cash and can't fight very well. Okay? Now, Bob rides the number 20 bus every day at 5. So in conclusion, I'm not saying go steal a car or beat up Bob Nelson. I'm just saying consider your many options before you steal from me. Thanks.
Finally, a new monthly TV series called I Wanna Be debuts tomorrow night on Como TV with an episode titled I Want to Be a Heavy Equipment Operator. Next month's episode, I Want to Be Ken Schramm's Human Chair. This has been The Late Report. I'm going out to lock my car, but I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Hey kids, it's time once again for Uncle Fran's Super Bowl Fun Fact.
Hi kids, I'm Uncle Fran with another Super Bowl fun fact. Some of you want to know why Dallas is now considered the NFL's most hated team. And you ask, Is it because Dallas killed our 35th president, John F. Kennedy? And the answer is no, even though most cities with pro football teams have managed not to kill a single president. The real reason is that the owner, the coach, and the players on Dallas are all complete jerks. So remember, hate Dallas because they're jerks, not because they killed one of our most beloved presidents. And enjoy the game. So long, kids.
Thank our family members, Gus and Katie over here. Thanks for showing up. Hey, and these guys had a wonderful time. You see, you're on TV. You see that? See, you didn't know that, did you? If you had a, if you want tickets to the show, here's the number, 421-5555. That's also a secret coded number. You know what's going on there. Also, oh, what, is that it? You mean we got to go now? I thought I had to stretch. No, we got to go? All right, bye-bye. I'll see you next week.